Hey, how you doing? Welcome back to the Big Show. My name is Mateo. I'm going to be drinking a beer, because that's what I do on this show. So let's start with the beer of the week. This is Powder Hound beer. It's made by Big Sky Brewing Company out of Missoula, Montana. For those of you Twin Peaks fans, you also know the significance of Missoula, Montana. Some of you might know their more famous beer, which is known as Moose Drool. Heard a lot of good stuff about that, and it's on my list. I will get to it. But while it's winter, I still want to hit some more of the winter ales. So that's exactly what this is. Powder Hound Winter Ale. So, well, chaos just occurred. So, I'm going to give this a pour here. As you can tell, it's not a dark beer like we had been doing. Definitely caramel-esque. And to smell it, you can smell the malts and the citrusy. It's all really good. You know, I thought this beer was going to be a little bit lighter than it is, especially considering its color, which is quite more caramel than, it's a darker than your Pilsner. It really is more of a caramel than it is like that bright yellow of a Pilsner. But this tastes like a heavy beer. So, you know, it's malty. It's not hoppy. Maybe there's a bitter finish on it, but it's not that bad. I was just surprised by the first taste. It's a really good beer, though. Now, do you want to know what the craziest part about this beer is? 7.25% alcohol. So, one of these is, you know, about 40% more alcohol per glass than, say, a Miller Lite. So, it's really a delicious beer. It's pretty heavy, but not. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on the recommend. Powder Hound, 7.2%. A beer that looks light, but doesn't taste light. So after what happened to our famed Notre Dame almost Heisman winner, I decided now would be the best time more than any to talk about the TV show Catfish that I have been sort of watching out of a morbid curiosity on MTV. Here's the show for those of you who don't know. Basically what happens is there are two people who are having some sort of internet relationship. And this is based on a movie in which the lead character, Nev, has been talking to a girl online and then goes to meet her. And then in the movie, what they did is they decided to document him, which of course I should probably actually call a documentary because it was a documentary at the time. It wasn't actually a scripted film. They travel out to see her, and of course, guess what? It turns out not to be the pretty girl he's been talking to online, but instead like a 40-year-old lady who is not nearly as good looking as the lady she used in her picture. So of course, millions of people now have reached out to Nev and said, hey, I'm having a similar experience. You want to help me out? Hence, let's start a TV show on MTV with basically the same thing. People then, he'll go and meet the people who are having the online relationship who have asked him. They'll come on. They'll start digging around a little bit using Google search and other Facebook and MySpace. Ultimately, what they find out is whether or not the person is who they say they are. They hook up a meeting between the two, and then MTV and Nev bring people to meet their counterparts that they've been talking to on the internet, and they meet them. And sometimes it turns out that it is who they've been talking to, but most of the time it turns out to be some kind of wild card out of the middle of nowhere. You never would have guessed this was going to happen kind of thing that happens. So here's where I have the problem, is because ultimately I think that the producers have not only weeded out, of course they have, let's just put it that way, but the producers have weeded out through all of the emails to find out exactly who is on the other end of those. And if it's an episode that in the making, they will go off and do that episode. I honestly think that Nev has no idea who they're going to meet and what's going to happen and how things are going to work out, but I definitely think that the producers do. And part of the reason I say this is because there's not a lot of, oh, she's just ugly and fat, or, oh, he's turns out to be gay. You know, it's not a lot of repetitive. We're not getting the same episodes over and over again. What we end up getting is a bunch of episodes where it's like, wait, it turns out that it's your ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend trying to get back at you for trying to sleep with him while they were together? What? Or, oh, it turns out to be the girl she says she is, but she's not really transgender. And now you're mad at her because she's not transgender, and it turns out that it was all about the money that she sent you. Like, there are just all these two wacky stories that I can't believe that they would have just gone out and done 100 of these episodes and then only aired 13 of them. I just don't feel like that would have happened. Plus, we all know that nowadays reality shows aren't really reality shows. We know that, don't we? So ultimately, I watch a lot of Catfish like this because I just feel bad, usually, for the person who's been put into that situation. Now, of course, I feel myself somewhat internet savvy and could probably have figured this out way before I ever brought Nevin. But there's some of these people who have been having like 2-4-year relationships online. Like, and I'm not making a judgment call, but a lot of these people don't seem to be very bright. So maybe they can't do this on their own and they need Nev to come out and do it for them. Interesting. It's another one of those shows, reality shows that you sort of watch like a car wreck that you're like, but I just want to see what happens. Like, I just want to see what they pulled out this week. Like, what is the ridiculousness that is going on? Ultimately, I have this question. What is it that brings people to have these online relationships where you can't really communicate? I mean, I've tried many long-distance relationships, and they never seem to work out very well because it's hard enough to keep in contact with somebody you're with when you're really busy, but when you're somebody 3, 4, 6, 10 hours away, it becomes even more of a nightmare. And certainly without the ability to talk with them on the phone or to Google Hangout with them on the internet or whatever it may be, it seems a lot more difficult to have these relationships online with these people where all you're doing is messaging over Facebook and talking on your cell phone. Like, I want to see these people, you know, I want to get to know them. Within 6 months, if I haven't met you, I'm going to believe that you are fake. So, anyway, what do you think? What's the deal with all these crazy online relationships? I'd like to know. Please leave a bunch of comments down in the bottom. And, of course, always like me on Facebook or YouTube. That would make my life that much happier.
Random thoughts at random.
Well, the first thing I want to talk about is a guy from New Zealand was asked to remove his shirt on an airplane flight because other people were disturbed by the shirt. Would you like to know what this shirt said? It said, "My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die." Now, of course, I am a guy who loves shirts. I love t-shirts, and especially if they reference something in some kind of way that makes people go, oh, that's awesome, I didn't even, like, recognize that. Like, I have a Slurm shirt, for instance. Not many people know what Slurm is, but if you know the reference, you're like, that's a really clever shirt. So, the fact that if I got onto somebody's shirt and they were like, I don't know what Slurm is, man. That's not funny, I don't know what Slurm is. But to believe that there are people out there in the world who don't know, my name is Inigo Montoya, you killed my father, prepare to die, is astounding to me. Alright, let's take this a second further and say that even if you've never seen the movie, I mean, of the most quoted lines from that movie is, my name is Inigo Montoya, you killed my father, prepare to die. I mean, if you were to go into, like, most quoted, like, do a most quoted list, you'd have, like, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn, Luke, I am your father, my name is Inigo Montoya, you killed my father, prepare to die. I mean, like, those are, like, top, that's like a top fiver, that quote. So, for even if you not to know what that quote is, would be pretty amazing. But let's even pretend you've never even heard the quote. Let's just dissect what the shirt says. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. I mean, the only person on that plane who at all should be intimidated would be the guy who perhaps maybe killed that guy's father. But nobody else on that plane should be at all intimidated. So this is my question. Did somebody on that plane kill this guy's father? Because unless they did, nobody on the plane has anything to worry about. I mean, like, if I were to have looked at that and never have heard, my name is Inigo Montoya, you killed my father, prepare to die, I would look at that and be like, that is obviously some kind of reference that I don't get. I mean, that's a reference to a movie that, I mean, I thought everybody in the world has seen. I mean, girls love it because, oh, it's such a cute, beautiful love story and blah, blah, blah. And guys love it because it's not only funny, but okay, it's funny. That's why guys like it. I mean, yes, it has some action hero elements to it, but it's not really a lot. The two best moments, especially for guys, in the movie are, my name is Inigo Montoya, you killed my father, prepare to die. My name is Inigo Montoya, you killed my father, prepare to die. And the second, of course, best moment for guys in that is, you know, faces off against Humperdinck. And, you know, they have a fight to the pain, not to the death. And then he stands up. I mean, you know, like, those are two, you know, awesome moments, and guys love those moments very much. Girls, I think, still love the Buttercup stuff. Okay, but it's amazing to me that nobody knows that reference, or that some people don't know that reference. And then not only that, but then they would find that reference so offensive and scary that they would ask the stewardess, excuse me, flight attendant, to ask that man to at least reverse his shirt or take it off or wear something else. That blows my mind. I don't know about you. All right, well, that's all I got this week. 7.2% beer. I can't drink it. I still got to edit and stuff. Okay. So come back next week. I'm sure we're going to have more fun-filled stuff for us to talk about. Well, my name's Matteo. I'm going to finish drinking this beer.